Nicole Kasem explains.
Georgia's farmers market is usually crowded with people and produce, but not today. What produce did line the market was limited, and people had little to choose from.
The peak time for watermelons is 4th of July. That's a week away. We think we'll still have some watermelons available, but I suspect they'll be in tight supply because of the severe weather conditions that we've had, because all of our watermelons are not under irrigation, and without water, watermelon just doesn't produce.
Folks celebrated the watermelon season with a seed spinning contest, complete with the Watermelon Queen's participation.
Today we're just out trying to promote the watermelon industry and meet some of the consumers, because the farmers market is the best place, I think, to meet the consumers when they're out buying from the farmers.
Although the recent dry weather has definitely taken its toll on Georgia farmers, the Savannah community has come out in numbers to support this long-lived tradition and take advantage of the good crops while they last. Nicole Kasem, 22 News, live, local, late breaking.
Nicole Kasem brings us the story from Fort McAllister State Park.
Live music, down-home entertainment, fun, food, and games. They were all a part of this year's barbecue, a 22-year tradition that seems to get better every year.
The barbecue here, I wouldn't miss it. The food's too good. It's just the food, sometimes it's better than home-cooked food.
The kids had tons to choose from the dunking booth to the barrel spin, while some just had to dance. Kids and parents alike celebrated in style, and there was something for everyone.
As the kids can get in the dunking booth this year.
Oh, they improve it each year. They'll do something different. And the music's always good. And that's a good recurring thing each year along with the food.
My favorite part is over there where you throw the balls, and the people, when you hit the goal, they go in.
It's being called the largest barbecue in the country. The Richmond Hill Recreation Center sponsored this year's 4th of July barbecue. Now over 5,000 people showed up for today's barbecue, all in celebration of America's birthday. Nicole Kasem, 22 News, live, local, late breaking.
UTGS, Fox 28, Hardyville, Savannah. And now, from the heart of the Coastal Empire, this is the Fox 28 News at 10.
An early morning robbery suspect is on the run tonight, and the Savannah Police Department is combing the area even as we speak. I'm Nicole Kasem, and I'll bring you the very latest in this live report.
Nicole Kasem is following that story and brings us the very latest from the newsroom. Nicole?
Ramona, at first police thought they were responding to a shooting, but it turned out to be a robbery, with the suspect fleeing the scene. It happened at the Enmark gas station on the corner of Abercorn and Apache Drive. According to officers on the scene, the suspect entered the gas station, bought a quart of oil, and then held up the clerk, possibly at gunpoint. The suspect apparently then jumped in his black pickup truck with an undisclosed amount of money and headed west down 204. The suspect wasn't more than 2 miles away before he turned off Grove Point Road, where he wrecked his truck and then escaped on foot. Police scoured the area and found the truck, but not the suspect. Now, I just spoke with the Savannah Police Department, and they're still searching for the man and will continue to throughout the night. The only description officers have is that the suspect is a white male, medium build, possibly in his late 20s or early 30s. They also ask if anyone has any information on this morning's crime to call the police department at 232-4141 or call Silent Witness at 234-2020. Ramona?
Thanks for the report, Nicole. Keep us up to date.
Nicole Kasem joins us now to tell us more about the program. Nicole?
Carl, CASA volunteers say they want to help kids. The volunteers step into situations where children are not living in ideal environments and try and remedy those situations. The situations can range from physical or mental abuse in the home to neglect. Yesterday, Governor Zell Miller proclaimed September 12th as CASA Day. In celebration, the Savannah-Chatham County chapter took to the rinks. Dozens of children at Savannah Skating Center. Renee Gresham Crawford, the executive director, says it's important for the kids to know they're cared for.
Find out what has happened to the child and hopefully try to make sure that what has happened never happens again, and gathering information and presenting it to the judge so the judge, to help the judge make a decision on what's in the child's best interest. So we work very closely with the courts.
Involved in the local chapter, volunteers are always needed. One volunteer says her maternal instinct drew her to the program.
Instill in them the value of being in a family unit and you know, doing things with them to let them know that even though their areas may be not as positive as they would like it, that I can add something to their just enjoying life.
Now, because these children are from abused backgrounds, we weren't permitted to show their faces, but I can tell you the children we spoke to had a great time and were smiling the entire afternoon.
Sounds like a worthwhile effort. How can people get involved in this, Nicole?
Well, Carl, CASA hopes Savannah will be more aware of child abuse, and to promote the prevention of abuse, they encourage everyone to wear a blue ribbon, which you can pick up at the CASA office at Juvenile Court, or if you'd like to volunteer some time, you can call 231-1997.
Thanks a lot, Nicole.
22 News at 6. Live, local, late breaking.
And a sunken piece of history just off Fort Jackson may be soon raised. I'm Nicole Kasem, and I'll have a live report.
Our Nicole Kasem joins us now live from the newsroom with more. Nicole?
Ramona, the sunken ship is located just off Fort Stewart. It has been its watery grave since 1864. But some say this piece of history can sometimes be a hazard to passing ships. Now the Georgia Ports Authority wants to raise its remains as part of the controversial river deepening project. The DPA estimates it will cost more than $13 million to excavate and recover the Georgia and protect the nearby fort. GPA spokesperson James McCurry says Congress has authorized the project but has not yet allocated any money for it. The next step, he said, is design followed by construction. That's slated to begin 2001. Ramona?
Now, Nicole, while you were there, did you talk to any people to see how they actually felt about the project?
Well, the people I did speak with today had mixed reactions, much like the resurrection of the Titanic. Some folks think it's history. It's remained where it has been. Others say we can learn from it. Ramona?
Thanks, Nicole. Keep us up to date.
The heart of the Coastal Empire in Low Country. This is ABC 22 News at 11. Live, local, late breaking.
One man is dead tonight and local residents are scared. I'm Nicole Kasem, and I'll have all the details in a live report.
And Nicole Kasem joins us now with the latest on this developing story. Nicole?
Carl, there weren't a whole lot of people talking today. In fact, many of them were just plain scared. However, I did get a chance to catch up with one of those tenants today, and he was still in shock.
Saturday night, between 1 and 2 o'clock, I heard a loud hollering and glass breaking. It sounded like there was a war zone going on. It sounded like a war was going on downstairs.
Harris said he woke up to the sound of breaking glass and a man screamed. And when the silence finally came, all that was left was a gruesome scene and a lot of questions.
I seen blood on the floor, blood out on the porch.
I caught up with the landlord, Carlene Williams, today, who declined an interview with me, but did say off camera that she was devastated and was going to do everything in her power to find the killer. The Savannah Police Department is being tight-lipped tonight also about the cause of death. Meanwhile, Carlene Williams is making posters to put up around the city looking for the criminal.
Our Nicole Kasem reports residents are already hard at work.
This was Tybee Island just over a month ago. This is Tybee Island today. Today, it's hammers and nails rather than wind gusts and destruction.
Friends and relatives that have donated, we've raised enough money to actually rebuild sections of docks and put in new ramp, and it's moving along, and it's going to continue moving along, and it's going to be finished as soon as we can possibly get it finished.
Parts of the floating dock were completely torn out, and boats were swept out to sea, leaving many with no answers.
There were several other smaller docks that were damaged. No one had the amount of damage that we had, I think because of our location of docks and also because of the size of our docks. When you have that many boats tied to docks, and we certainly didn't have enough warning to remove all the boats at one time.
Next weekend, Outback Steakhouse will sponsor a benefit festival, complete with steak dinners, raffles, games, and contests, all in hopes of repairing the damage Earl left in his wake. Nicole Kasem, 22 News, live, local, late breaking.
Now, switching gears, a horrific hate crime leaves a Wyoming student.
Live, local, late breaking.
Savannah and Chatham County school bus drivers are gearing up for negotiations. I'm Nicole Kasem, and I'll tell you about it in a live report.
Our Nicole Kasem is following that story, and she joins us now live from the newsroom with more.
Ramona, bus drivers gathered tonight at Lake Mare to discuss how to better strengthen the group, to get better results, and to protect the kids. The answer they came up with: make the group an official association, recognized by the state. Now, right now, they are waiting for approval of a charter by the Secretary of State, which would allow the group to take legal action. More than a dozen members came together tonight, all in hopes of legalizing the group by becoming an official association, a labor union of sorts. By doing this, the drivers could have a better chance of Laidlaw Transit meeting their demands.
As we studied with the board before it was privatized, that we would be losing our benefits, the board assured us that we would be better off, which is not the case. We don't really have any benefits with them. We can join a
Right now, the group is still fighting for paid holidays and field trips to benefits and sick leave.
Mr. Ferrari told us this week that it would be some time before they could work all that out. This has been one of the major problems is when you do the work, you're not paid for the field trips at that time or, or work that you may do.
The group will meet with Laidlaw officials at the end of this month to discuss labor issues. And now that the drivers are becoming more organized, they think they'll be better prepared for that upcoming meeting.
Thanks, Nicole. It'll be interesting to see what happens when they actually do sit down to the table and negotiate. Keep us up to date.
Nicole Kasem joins us now with the story. Nicole?
Carl, the Reagan administration was the first to declare the country's war on drugs nearly 15 years ago. And the nation listened and took action. The Red Ribbon campaign is now in its 10th year of eliminating drugs and alcohol off American streets. Concerned citizens took to the streets to teach and to learn. Savannah keeps that tradition alive today. Now that the program has reached its 10-year mark, has it made a difference?
We may have gone back and forth, a little ebb and flow, but I think generally we've made a positive turn with things.
It seems like it's improving more, but I think the education-wise it's improved definitely. I think they're teaching the kids more. I got a younger brother and stuff like that, so definitely teaching them more in school and stuff about it.
I do think we've come a long way with drugs. There's in all the schools you've got the say no to drugs. Kids nowadays, the new generation, I don't know if it's the Y or the Z, whatever the next generation is, are all growing up. Everybody's telling them no drugs, no drugs, no drugs. They're growing up with that, knowing that it's bad.
Oh, I think we've made an improvement.
How so?
Well, I see children that have an awareness for drug abuse, and that I see more children making better choices. Personally, I think on a national level, I think it's gone down maybe slightly, but I still think it's a problem among teenagers.
The drug and the marijuana and so forth, yes, I do see an improvement, thank God.
Now the rest of Red Ribbon Week is full of all kinds of activities. Tomorrow there will be a ribbon tying ceremony on the Talmadge Bridge, and then all kinds of festivals and presentations throughout the week.
And Nicole, if people want to get involved, where could they pick up the red ribbons or find out other information?
Well, they can stop by Housing Authority of Savannah at 200 East Broad Street for free ribbons and for information, Carl.
All right, thanks a lot, Nicole.
How have the negative political campaigns affected local voters? I'm Nicole Kasem, and I'll have that story for you next.
With Nicole Kasem, she joins us now live from the newsroom to tell us what type of voter turnout the experts are predicting.
Ramona, less than half of Georgia's registered voters are expected to turn out to the polls on Tuesday. Now, that's a prediction by the man who heads up Georgia's elections, Secretary of State Louis Massey. He says negative campaigning has played a big part in the low numbers. We talked to some local residents today to see if they plan to vote.
Vote this coming Tuesday. There's been a series of negative campaigns on, but I don't think that's influenced my vote at all.
I'm voting Democrat based on issues that has to do with taxes and other issues.
I watched everything and I was absolutely disgusted with the way they were vilifying each other, and I wouldn't think that anybody would be suitable for office if they were all as bad as they had been painted. So
most definitely I'm voting on Tuesday. I mean, we as a people basically have struggled for years to have the right to vote. It's a right that all Americans have.
Yes, they have influenced me. I think they're all kind of stupid. They certainly don't pay attention to the issues, and I have made up my own mind.
with all the negative campaigning, you don't know what to believe and what not to believe. To me, it made it seem like they were all telling lies from the get-go. So I'd rather people tell them what good things they did instead of all the mudslinging going on.
Of course I'm going to vote. That's my constitutional right, and I think that it's very important that we exercise our right to vote.
So, Savannah residents with many different opinions and multiple influences. Congressman Mitch McConnell of Kentucky says the economy is good and the voters are content. He believes that will create a low voter turnout because content voters don't vote and angry voters do. Ramona?
Thanks, Nicole. It'll be interesting to see what happens on Tuesday.
Nicole Kasem, and I'll bring you the very latest in this live report.
PFC Nicole Kasem.
Fairness and consistency are the driving factors in the Air Force's recent decision to change the promotion study guidelines. Prior to the change, the rules on sharing information and participating in study groups were cloudy. But with the Air Force slowly but surely coming into the computer age, restricting commercial study guide software is necessary. Aviano's promotion and testing officer, Babette Gross, says the change will ensure preparation continues to be an individual effort.
From a standpoint for personal responsibility for anyone eligible to promotion test, you need to keep all your study materials to yourself, not accessible by anyone else. You need to find a spot where nobody else can be around to see what you're doing, because if somebody else oversees what you're studying and if it's highlighted, that's a possible test compromise.
The availability of government computers within individual units also contributes to the recent decision. Not everyone's job requires daily use of a government computer, so the change helps eliminate the unfair advantage that previously existed. The ban on the Weighted Airman Promotion System, or WAPS, commercial study programs will now benefit everyone Air Force-wide.
By allowing individuals to use government computers, it wasn't fair to everyone. For example, you have individuals who are at computers all day long, and then you have maintainers that are on the flight line who have no access to a computer at all. And it brings it into fairness and individual effort.
If the new regulation is violated, the act is punishable under the Uniform Code of Military Justice. Look for the updated guidelines before 1998. If you're not clear on the changes, check with your military personnel flight for the details. Private First Class Nicole Kasem, Air Force News, Aviano Air Base, Italy. Space available traveling at Incirlik is a great way to get where you're going, but you need to remember these important steps or it could be more trouble than it's worth. Remember to sign up for Space A flights immediately after you start your leave. If you're leaving Turkey, be sure and have your red stamped orders with you, otherwise you won't get very far. When you do fly Space A, keep in mind you're only authorized 2 bags, no heavier than 140 pounds, and 1 carry-on. If you remember these steps, your Space A flight should be a breeze.
This is the Incirlik Nightly News.
Hello and welcome to Army News Watch. I'm Specialist Nicole Kasem. 8 months to the day after the President called them to active duty, the 49th Armored Division returned home. For the Texas National Guard soldiers, it marked the end of an historical deployment. The mission marked the first time since the Korean War that the National Guard commanded active duty troops. Sergeant Don Lampisoni has more on the mission and the return. She's not a soldier. She's not even sure if she wants to be a soldier. But for 1 week, Rosalind Sue Smith sure acted like one. Smith's week-long Yahoo military fantasy was chock full of thrills most troops never get the chance to experience. Only a select few get to ride in an Apache.
It was the most incredible view, and definitely developed even a further appreciation and respect for the Army aviation.
Even fewer troops train with the Special Forces instructors, especially in their vertical wind tunnel.
We wanted to show her some of the most exciting, some of the most high-tech, important stuff that we have in the Army.
And only an elite few ever get to do this.
It's not something that you can describe and have someone who's not jumped understand. I felt so close to God up there. I felt so close, like I was in the heavens, and it's just the most intense, amazing, peaceful feeling all at once.
So how scared was she? Could she have been hurt during her soldierly attempt?
I mean, skydiving's nothing more than calculated risk. If we really thought it was dangerous, like there's always the possibility, but if for 1 second I thought that I wasn't going to come home at the end of the night, I'd be crazy to do it.
It was incredible. It was the most incredible rush that I have ever felt in my life. Nothing can compare to skydiving.
For the Army, it was also a positive experience. More than 3,200 people logged on and pled their case, hoping to snag the adventure of a lifetime. So after Smith's soldier saga, is she ready to be all she can be?
Possibly. I'm going to finish my college career, get my degree, and then evaluate my options and see what's the best choice for me at that given time.
So although her Army future is uncertain, one thing is clear. The Army and Yahoo helped her military fantasy come true.
She is red, white, and blue, through and through.
Specialist Nicole Kasem, Fort Bragg, North Carolina. Good information, Hank. Now I understand there's a shortage of Army divers right now.
That's right, and if people are interested, they can contact their local Army recruiter.
Thanks, Hank. We appreciate it. Well, the sale and transfer of military equipment to our allies and strategic partners is a key element in U.S. national security strategy. It was the Truman Doctrine in 1948 that created the Security Assistance Program, still considered an integral part of today's American foreign policy. Correspondent Gail McCabe reports from Sweden.
This is my full-time job.
Hello and welcome to Army News Watch. I'm Sergeant Shannon Nelson. And I'm Specialist Nicole Kasem. A Fort Belvoir, Virginia soldier and her former boyfriend are dead after an argument took a turn for the worst. On August 15th, Staff Sergeant Spring Law was standing in her Fort Belvoir driveway getting ready to take her son to football practice. According to public affairs officials, that's when Charles Saunders drove up and confronted her. An argument ensued and the man pulled out a 9mm pistol. He shot Law once in the leg and again in the chest, finally turning the gun on himself. Law was flown to a local hospital where she died from her wounds. Saunders was pronounced dead on the scene. The investigation into the incident continues.
Jennifer Braden, Pensacola, Florida.
When the dust finally settled, the Armed Forces crown went to the Army as the team went undefeated. And that wraps up this edition of Army News Watch in Anchorage, Alaska. You can catch us on KTVV television and Schofield Barracks, Hawaii. Tune in to TV2. Be sure to tune in next time for the stories that make America's Army.